Test, test, test. All right. So today I'll work more on the enemy roles. Sadly I hadn't had time yesterday to continue that. But on the upside, there's a codex now in the game, which I still need to write some descriptions for. But before I get to that, I want to change how the spear works. So I already changed how the axe works, but now it's the spear's turn. And all the weapons have a normal movement pattern. The dagger does double damage if you corner an enemy against a obstacle. The axe does double damage if there are more than one enemy around you. Hey Squint, how's it going? Nice to see you. And the spear does piercing damage, so it damages 2 enemies in a row. I just had the idea, maybe the spear should also have a double damage attack. And not what I had planned right up until now. But yeah, the rest of the talk is that all the weapons have a charm, and that adds another movement pattern. X sounds cool, saw it in the Discord. Combat getting a major sprucing up. Yeah, it's in a kind of middle, in an in-between state right now, and I can't leave it there. So I'll have to remedy that, make it more interesting. So yeah, the spear charm adds a ability that if you step away from an enemy, it does damage to the enemy. I originally planned to make that the spear, the main spear movement, plus if you walk towards an enemy, it also does damage. But maybe I should put a double damage thing in there. But doing double damage to a row of enemies is it could be better if the enemies would behave in a way where those situations occur more often, but right now they don't. And yeah, the dagger is super effective. You can use it very often. The axe now as well. And the spear needs something similar. So, and it should of course have something to do with the fact that it's a spear. So moving forward and doing damage, so not bumping into the enemy, but just stepping towards it so that you're adjacent, and that doing damage is pretty in line with what a spear does. Stepping away also kind of. But there has to be a condition. So the condition for the dagger is that the enemy is cornered. The condition for the axe is that you're surrounded by enemies. And what could the spear be? What could the condition be? Hey Pavis, how's it doing? How are you doing? Man, I just found out your game and I'm just amazed by your style of coding. By the way, what's the font name that you're using in VI? Thanks. Oh god. That is... I think that's Terminus. Pretty sure it's Terminus. That's what Arch Linux tells you to install, I think. Something like that. It's a pretty basic font. The charms could have durability, which they lose as you use the abilities they provide. Just a balancing thought. Not sure if it'll be needed. That could be interesting. So right now the charms are meant to be accumulated over the run. But they could also have an ebb and flow. That could be an idea, yeah. But generally with the charms I need a better way of acquiring them. Because right now they are pretty random. They drop with the weapons in the chests. So you get maybe 3 or 4 in a run. And that's pretty bad. So they need a major overhaul anyway. And it would be basically they need to have some kind of a progression to them. Because they are the only variable I have other than what kind of weapon you're carrying in terms of upgrades. So generally, so it's either the charms or something else, but there needs to be something in the game that the player can work towards, so that you can do specific steps that you know ahead of time to acquire a specific charm, for example. And yeah, that doesn't play too well with durability. But I could also split the charms in two. Say passive buffs are still charms, but everything that has to do with weapons lands in a different category. That could be enchantment, scrolls or something, and have the progression there. But yes, the game needs a way for the player to achieve what they want, and charms are the easiest target. Okay, what kind of a enemy constellation, apart from lining up enemies in a row, because that's too hard. Could unlock double damage for the spear. Let me just jump in and play a bit. Let's take the spear. And yeah, I'm working on the inventory. It's because I have the larger descriptions now. And I really didn't want to add a short one and a longer one. So that's cluttering up the inventory right now. Till I find a better solution. Could we have an attack that uses the ranged attack binding that allows you to jab from 2 tiles away? With a charm, yes. No, actually no. That's wrong. Would be cool if you could do that with the charm. No, sadly the ranged attack button is reserved for the offhand weapons. But there could be something freaky like just pole and duct tape that works in the game setting, that enables attacks one tile away for all weapons. Maybe it could be the offhand attack of the shield when you have the 2 equipped. So that, you mean the shield modifies what the spear does. That's a crazy idea. So right now it's just the shield bash. Problem is you would need to find modifying attacks for the bow as well, because that's also an offhand. Picturing a Greek phalanx, yeah, that came to mind for me as well. That's a crazy idea. I haven't thought of that. I'm not sure if it would make things too complicated. Dagger and bow could be a cool combo, like a rogue. Oh my god, it's actually pretty cool idea. But I also feel that would clash a lot of times. So you would have to have all the combinations. X and X for Berserker. Let me jump in here. I have all the stuff lying around. So I have the shield. So the shield would then have to have a special attack for when you have the dagger equipped, the axe and the spear, and the bow as well. So having a bow and a dagger, bow and an axe, bow and a spear. They could kind of define your class. Okay, this sounds pretty amazing. But what could more offhand weapons be in this system? Well, offhand items. Shield, bow. I mean, you could just put in boots, for example, or gloves that alter what the weapon does, or it could, I mean, it would just give a second ability. Well, problem is, oh, this gets a bit messy. So if I have the bow and the dagger equipped, so the special action will of course be shooting arrows. But it could modify how the dagger works. So the base is that you corner enemies, but with the bow, not sure. Maybe each offhand has a generic case and only one weapon with which it has a special combo. That would be a middle way. Damn, Squint. Are you a veteran game designer? Because your ideas are insane. Insanely good. So that would make it some kind of an affinity between probably bow and dagger and spear and shield. And then I need something for the axe. So with this system, I could keep the charms passive. So I remove all the movement buffs from the charms. Maybe I'll add them in back later, but I think it would get too confusing. And have just synergies that add the movement, the new movement. In his 2x is an option. You need to be able to equip an axe as an offhand by default. I think that would change it too much. But there could be something similar to an axe that's only in the offhand. It could be a weapon. I mean, the bow is a weapon. Throwing axe. That would work, yeah. Maybe one you have to retrieve each time to keep it, to make it distinct from the bow. But therefore it chops down multiple enemies. Could be like the daggers were. Or you mean multiple? That's getting more complicated because they would be again a middle thing. There would be ammunition and a weapon itself, and yeah, that's iffy. Or it could be an axe that just comes back to you, or something like a boomerang or something. When I do retrieve is cool. This combo with the axe could be that you attack twice with them. Or attack with them both. Yeah. Could be 2 hits at once. If you do the bump combat and then you have the special button to throw. Okay, this is pretty cool. So basically, if I have the axe and the shield, well, that's not, they don't work together. But let's say spear and shield work well together. So the shield would still have its bash attack, but the spear would get moving forward doing damage. Instead of just bumping, you step towards an enemy, so you're adjacent, it does attack. It does damage. And then the bow and the dagger. I mean, if you don't have it, what are you missing? I mean, this doesn't have to be realistic. I'm just trying to imagine what it's like. Then you get the bow. It could also, of course, modify what the bow does. So it could add something like bleeding damage. Yeah. Could modify the bow to deal poison damage. That's even better. Thinking the same thing. So it could go either way. The question then is, do I fill out all the spots? Dagger with a shield and axe with a bow. This is pretty cool. But of course, this is also pretty hard. So adding new stuff. I mean, I think the 3 weapons will be like this for quite a while. So I'd rather keep those 3. I'd rather not add another weapon for a while. But offhand, that's free game. I think generic cases for most combos motivate players to seek out certain weapons in offhand. And I know what you mean. Have some bad, so the good shine. Hey McNilly. Morning. How are you doing? I mean, it's also less work if I only have 1 combo for each weapon. I could have parrying a dagger as another offhand. Or you could make the dagger parry when you're carrying a shield, because the shield doesn't do much. It doesn't even add defense anymore. Doing good, lots of creative work to do today. It sounds fun. Okay, this is this could be pretty awesome. And an added bonus is that I don't need the charms. So those can still drop wherever, but they're not as important. Ethan, good afternoon, ladies. We'll see programs, thanks. Okay, let's actually make a matrix right here. Axe, dagger, spear, and then I have shield and bow. So what did we say? Okay, poison, Spear and shield is pounds maybe. Not sure how to call it. And the axe and the shield. Well, yeah, I'm missing one thing for the axe. So it could be helmet, gloves, boots, could be throwing axe. Yeah, probably throwing axe, but that's... Is that in the same category? Probably. Is there something else that you can throw that's not an axe or a dagger? But similar? Oh no, well, it has to be a throwing axe. I'm not quite satisfied. So point was the double wielding. Double damage. Maybe that's also a bit lame. I would like it more if it would modify the movement. The movement patterns. Yeah, McNally's game is up. I looked at it, it looks awesome. It's really cool. Okay. Anyways, this is an awesome idea. Let me write this down, actually, before I forget it. But yeah, I'm running out of time for Friday, but we'll revisit this. Axe, dagger. Okay. Just looking at my to-dos. Oh god. Many to-dos. We only just reached 3K yesterday in the wish list. Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. The yeah, it's all from the video. Okay, let's fix the problem first. That is the spear. So to have an effect, I'll need to line up 2 enemies in a row. So maybe it could be that I just need to alter the pathfinding of the enemies so that they stack up more. But I mean, the axe has the same problem, that it only works with multiple enemies. But here are two, for example. Okay, that one just disintegrated. But yeah, the dagger works with single enemies as well. But not with double enemies. But it's just that you can apply it much more. So maybe the enemy distribution needs to change. Yeah, so there's pretty much no... Oh, there's one, but comes too late. Not sure. So how could I make this spear more damage with a with how the enemies are laid out? So even if I wanted to, I can't make those two line up. I think that's actually a pathfinding problem, because they don't follow the path. They can't find the path if an enemy is blocking the way. So that ghoul down there won't move, even if I wait. Okay, how can I find a simple solution? But yeah, as you can see, the axe is pretty effective. But the spear is not. I could make, so the idea was just making the spear to damage if you walk toward an enemy and walk back from the enemy. But then I, just 10 minutes ago, I found a reason not to do that. And forgot it. Oh yeah, that was the double damage. What awaits me to work on my own game? That's my first. I'm in the library today for that very reason. I've got a big rework of a few components to do. That's cool. In the library. I better get back to it, actually. Good luck all. Alright, Squint. Thanks for stopping by and dropping some amazing ideas, as usual. But if I make the spear do damage when walking forward and walking backward, that's basically double damage. So let's do that. Okay, that's the spear super. The dagger super is basically the same. So I don't have super attacks for the dagger and the spear anymore. What was the axe super? 360 and stepping into. Okay, that's also not that good. So let's just remove the supers. Hey Desert, how's it going? Welcome in. So let's remove these supers, which means removing the charms, which is pretty bad, but much better than the alternative. So the leather strap, the oil, and the flint has to go. And I'll just make them not drop. The oil. Okay. That didn't drop anyways, seems. Which is fine. Okay. So let's mothball this. Super. Okay. And then let's make the spear better. Hit second row. So this all goes. And what I'll take is these two. Yeah, actually I have this inversion control. I can just destroy all of this. So let's see. So this is a two-parter. And I'll need an if statement. So the spear, basically, if you walk forward. Okay, this both says stepped away, so that's stupid. Let's look at this. So the PT, that's temporary position, is the hero position. And I subtract the direction that the hero is moving in. So it does, oh god, I need to paint a picture. So this is the hero. Hero moves to the east. So DI is east. And then it subtracts the direction. So the hero is then here and then here. But I pressed into this direction. So I'm looking at this. PT is now here. And I think I've already moved. So this looks, the hero was here, moved to here. Then this function is called. The function looks at this position, looks if there was an enemy there. But what is enemy prepared? Oh, that's okay, that's cool. So only does damage if the enemy was about to attack. That's let's comment that out for now. That sounds more like something a dagger would do. This spear now. So, but this is actually stepping away. So let's look here. So let's say I'm pressing in this direction. The hero was here, is now here. This adds one to the position, so it looks at what is now in front of the hero and does the attack. So this is towards an enemy. Okay, and both of them combined. Then should make for fun gameplay. Let's see. Okay, can you maybe... Okay, it doesn't attack anything, that's cool. Oh, okay, that's I need the default attack. That's missing. So I need to hit something first. Problem is that I have these conditions here that it has to be an enemy, so I can't even chop down grass. But these moves should only work with enemies. Maybe they should... They should return. Step away from enemy. Yeah, so if either of these work, then I wasn't moving into an obstacle. Is that true? What if I was? Where is the fists? Yeah. Let's just plop this in here and see what happens. Okay, a bit more complicated. But that's just the usual. Okay, attack, no damage. At least I can attack normal stuff now. The other two don't work. Oh, this returns. Okay. Not no. And then, yeah, just don't break out of the function. Oh. Okay, it still doesn't work. Okay, maybe I'll this all in here. Yeah, the return nulls, they throw a wrench in all of this. So stepping away. So if the hero stepped away from something and that was an enemy. Let's remove this one now. And it attacked, then return 1. Maybe like this. Why? Why? Hey, Fuzzlings, how are you doing? What does fight return? Returns 0. So it's greater than 1. No, it's just 1 or 0. Am I not getting? Congrats on the viral vid. Thanks. Don't use Discord almost at all. That's sad, but no worries. It doesn't either. We forced him. Kind of, yeah. Not really. I came willingly. He instantly guilt invited me to Discord. You want to use Usenet and IRC? Yeah, that would have been my first choice. No, I actually had a Discord under the previous name of the game. I just never used it. And then didn't make one for Rangedrifter until now. But I just made the server and never used Discord actually. The mainstream. Yeah. That's Usenet. Yeah, but Usenet is just a giant graveyard. It's actually pretty eerie. Okay, so why is this so complicated? Why am I unable to make this work? I wanted to use PictoChat on the Nintendo DS. I have no idea what that is, but it sounds fun. Come on, what is happening? It's not even polite enough to crash or something. Wait, am I getting two numbers? Yeah, I'm getting two numbers. I think there's a fundamental problem here. Oh god. Okay. Let's undo this. Oh no. Okay, removed. Just that stuff, okay. Let's undo all the changes. And write it correctly. Okay, the problem is... The problem is that the super attacks... the super attacks... They depend on having moved. But the normal attacks depend on having bumped into an enemy. So... I'll just use the supers without the charm limitation, and that's it. I probably would prefer us to SSH copy txt files with messages in them. That would be pretty cool. Would be a step up from Discord. In any case, Morse code was his first choice. Just async dash avc question txt max server questions. I mean, at that point, you can just mail it to me. Okay, now I'm seeing only Morse code. First phrase is SOS. You use a Morse code translator online, will actually spell something out. Okay. Good, super. And then I'll just remove this. And the spear does both of these, and the axe does nothing. Axe, super. Please just work. that works. That works as well. Okay, so that's maybe a bit overkill. Oops. Of course. Maybe I don't add in the walking back. Because you can just, yeah, kite enemies without even thinking about it. So let's take that out. And of course they were both badly named. So what was that? Oh god, back here. After stepping away, okay. That's at least one description works. And let's say always on. Let's please the compiler. Do people even use Usenet anymore? I wonder if there's still Usenet boards that have hundreds of thousands of users. I doubt it. I think there's a couple of people still on there, but it's basically like Reddit, but abandoned. Okay, let's see how this plays. Now that I have finally implemented the movement. Oh, okay, you can't really run away from them. There should also be some kind of visual feedback. But that's okay if I do that next week. Like just a dash, like with the arrows that fly. But yeah, this is pretty cool. I like this. It's much better. Might be exploitable though. Max, when you're getting an Apple Silicon Mac to build the game so us Mac users can play. I'd have to... well, I'd need the money, so I'd have to cancel my yacht, which is still being built. So, rather not do that, but... no, honestly, my parents have a ARM Mac, so I don't even need to buy one. It's just that, I mean, I didn't even have time to fix the damn controller support. So it's right now it's actually just a time problem. Damn, no BMWs. If I wasn't using my Mac Mini as a server, give it to you. It's no, keep your Mac Mini, but that's a nice gesture. And yeah, I'd have to do some research too, because I'm not sure if I need to support Intel Macs. Still, probably. So that would be another thing. Well, this is also pretty powerful. Maybe the spear does not attack. Maybe the spear does not attack normally. I still have to have the second row stuff. That's not working. Oh, it doesn't attack enemies. I need to be able to chop down bushes. It doesn't attack enemies in this way, or NPCs. If you feel zesty, you could use GitHub Actions well over my dead body. Horrible and only built for Windows and Linux. I mean, I do too. You can make universal built for Mac, so it will work on Intel and Apple Silicon with Xcode, probably. Happy to sign an NDA for something. And I become the CI to build the game. Hey Andre, how's it going? Return 0. What did I just program? Oh, yeah. Something stupid. Obviously kidding. There's a lot of trust in me having the source code, especially since its secret put a /star Ethan was here somewhere. It's secretly put a comment in here in the source code. I mean, if you go through all my VODs, you can probably reconstruct 50% of the code, but that'd be hard work. Why didn't it? Okay, if you can't, I mean, it makes sense, but you're also pretty, I mean, the spear attack, I'm talking about the spear. Why didn't that work? Because the enemy moves after you. Okay, this could be just annoying. What's the chance if you did grab on the code base and type in a swear word? I think 0. Well, Not sure. There have been times where it's probably in the commit message, not in the source. John Blow streams his source too, but reconstructing from random pieces would be very hard. Yeah, did the same. One of my code bases from like 6 years ago. So I was 22, and there were a lot of usages of yeah. Okay. Yeah, this doesn't work with the spear. I think I have some swear words in the commit messages. I don't think this is really working. Just feeling it out. But yeah, you're basically not in enough danger. This is too easy. Remember a few jobs ago I did the same. The code base was from 2013. There were a lot of swear words, specifically around SQL. that adds up. The compiler will get released along with the game. The entire engine is going open source when the game releases. Oh, that's crazy. Didn't know that. Okay. Not sure what else I can do with this spear. Because this is just too great. It's too easy. Yeah, it's because if the enemies could retaliate immediately, that would work. But Actually, I think that's a problem the game has right now. That if you step toward an enemy, nothing happens. So maybe if I fix that, then this would work. But let me see. Prep, melee. Oh god, what's the order? So the hero does their turn. The enemy prepares to attack, but it only does that if there's an enemy there. So it doesn't prepare if you stand a tile away. So it would basically need a wildcard attack. Just attack you if it is blink yellow or not. Oh god. I'm not sure. So if the hero moves away, it could. Right now it doesn't prepare because the hero moves first and then it only sees the empty tile. Objects, previous position. So I could use the previous position as well for the hero. But I'm using this function. And why is this so complicated? Yeah, I basically need that. But when the hero steps towards the enemy, then it has a turn after that. So it sees the hero standing there, can immediately prepare, but then the hero can step away again. So there needs to be an enemy type that immediately attacks you when you step next to it. But that still doesn't help with the spear. Okay, did I remove it completely? Looks like it. I think I just hadn't the spear equipped. What? Okay. This is becoming confusing again. Not sure what I did. But yeah, this is not the solution. So that's sad. Let's undo this. Oh god, was that all? Yeah, let's leave the charms out for now. And let's look at the list here. The actual list below this point. So yesterday we looked at these and where are the undead? There they are. Okay, I'll just put this here right in the middle. Okay. So what I realized after stream is that, so the idea was that undead are just moving around randomly and ghouls spread clouds and ravens alert the undead or the ghouls and raise them from the ground. Problem is the raven cannot stand alone, so I'll have to change it. It only works with the others, and that's not good. But then yeah, the jackal, wolf, and bear skeletons are pretty worked out. Kobolds, yeah, let's look at the kobolds. Spiders. I don't need to. Yeah, I think I said one role and one ability for each. So the skeletons don't ever die. The archers can shoot, and the necromancers spread some kind of a cloud. So the kobolds, let's bring this down. Kobolds could be, oh god, what were these? So the blockers, they block the path, create bottlenecks. Pressers complicate movement because they threaten multiple tiles. The movers move things around. Pacers break the cadence, so they move twice or jump over obstacles. Teamers buff or summon other enemies. Trappers complicate movement in that they drop traps of some form. And the drainers, they drain resources or debuff the hero. So that's poison or stealing. Those are the roles. So kobolds don't really fit into blocker. Threatening multiple tiles, not really. Pacer also not really. They could lay traps. Let's call this a snare. So they lay traps now. Seldomly, but they do. So trolls, they move around boulders and probably should be a blocker. Oh god. Because they sleep. And then the mammoths are pressers because they threaten to trample you if you stand in a cardinal direction from them. That sounds good to me. And they can also slide stuff around. Okay, then the snakes, they poison. Raptors call back up. Probably. Spawn more raptors. And the centipede, maybe I need to find a new role for this centipede. What would be really cool, and thought about this before, would be a chain link enemy, like in the original Snake video game. But that's not easy to implement. It would be more of a boss fight thing. But what could the centipede do? Apart from blinding. Maybe it just sits in place, doesn't move, protecting something. That would be a cool change, especially with the frantic raptors. in this group. And can then still blind. Make attacks. Okay, the spider also shoots. Hatchling. Should be pretty fast. So maybe they can climb on top of obstacles. And then the cocoon, yeah, tank. Cocoon just sits there. Okay, then we have the robber. The robber steals. The bat. What do I have the least of? I think the teamer is, well, not sure actually. Well, actually the bat is also pacer because it flies. And then the crab is also a tank and a trapper. Okay, I mean that's actually not a bad list. So I'll try these out. I hope I can implement most of these today and tomorrow. Should be possible. And then next week I'll add secondaries to those, probably, if I have the time. Okay. But that's good. Yeah, and hopefully I can think of another movement pattern for the spear. That would be nice. Okay. Okay, alright guys, I'm going offline a bit sooner today. Because I have had a to-do list with like 5 points, 5 large points for Friday, and I've finished 1. So, it's just, yeah, it's all the other points are almost done. So I have like 2 meetings. What's this stream has been on? That's funny. 1 is more than 0. That's true. That's true. Oh, and actually, I can show you the. So I removed the help button here, and I added a help button here that lists all the stuff and all the stuff near you. So this is empty because I have to still fill in the texts, but these are pretty complete. I'll have to go over them again. But yeah, so this is the new help thing. Tutorial is gone because I thought it kind of a bit it felt a bit, what's it called? Patronizing, with how much detail it had. So all the information that was in the tutorial is in here in this list of the items, so that, yeah, there's actually much more than the tutorial had. So yeah, that's landing in the game on Friday. Yeah, just wanted to show you this in motion. Sadly, I don't have the time to add any animations, sliding animations, but yeah, I'll have to do. All right, guys, thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it. And hello to all the new people that found the game in the last couple of days. And I will wait. Tomorrow is Thursday. Yeah, so I'll be back on stream tomorrow, and I'll be in the Discord whilst working on stuff. All right, guys. Again, thank you very much for all the support, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right, bye-bye.